Somebody reported my live. Somebody reported my live. Someone reported my live and said that I was doing hate speech. I'm talking about what? Me? Bitch, my motherfucking shit ain't no hate speech. What the fuck? People be playing. They be playing. I'm talking about what the fuck is going on? Hey, I'm doing hate speech. As if I'm not gonna come back on this motherfucker and finish my shit. This is not hate speech. Didn't I say that in the first one? I am not, listen, I know that I be upsetting Christians because I challenge the concept of Christianity and how we flow in witchcraft and hoodoo and everything else. But I do not hate. I do not hate anybody. Okay. I dislike motherfucker ways, but I don't hate anybody. This was, I don't hate anybody. I was reported literally while I was doing it, I was reported 18 times. So people get up here and people of other persuasions can get up here and call us niggas on lives and stuff like that. And that is absolutely okay. But I'm literally talking about the Bible, and my live was reported 18 times for hate speech. I don't think that I said one thing that was bad, and I'm going to continue on with my fucking day because again, you can't cancel me and you can't do no shit like that with me and just think that I'm gonna tuck my tail and hide. I ain't never been a bitch like that. I will never be a bitch like that because girl, fuck you. Or nigga, fuck you too. Okay. Okay. And see how I can say that with a smile. Cause who the fuck and people still gonna watch me. I don't trip off of people not monetize YouTube not monetizing my videos. They didn't monetize my videos for almost 10 years. That's why I say when you guys give me donations, they count. But to report my shit 18 times in less than fucking 30 minutes and say that I was hate speeching, I wasn't hate speeching on nobody. If y'all didn't like this one, y'all should have listened to the one when I was talking about Melania Trump's bullshit ass documentary on Amazon Prime. Y'all should have fucking reported that one. Which I understand. I think I got like 700 and some views on it. I understand because of what I said. I knew that video was gonna get a lot of views. But if you get it, you get it. If you don't, you don't. If you don't like something that somebody says, then you just keep scrolling. I don't invest in people's life like that, but I understand when motherfuckers invest in mine like that. But you're not gonna stop nothing because I'm gonna say whatever the fuck I want to. Whenever the fuck I want to say it. And bitch, the only way I'm not gonna say it is if I die. Bitch, you can hit me in my motherfucking mouth, and I'm the type of bitch, I'm gonna talk to the blood, bitch. I'm gonna spit the blood out, and you can knock my motherfucking teeth out, bitch, and I'm still gonna say it, even if I'm not pronouncing the words correctly. Like I'm a fucking whole Taurus, and you will never be able to tell me no. Do you know the shit that I done fucking survived in my goddamn life? You have any fucking clue, any fucking idea how a bitch should not even be here? Bitch, I should be out my motherfucking mind. Well, I probably am a little bit. You know what I'm saying? That's cool. But I'm just gonna go on. I'm just gonna go on and I'm still gonna teach my shit. And I don't give a fuck about my videos being reported. I mean, I don't do this on YouTube to be monetized any motherfucking way. I don't need a YouTube check. I don't need that. I don't need that. Because I can make this a recorded video and not a live, and motherfuckers still gonna watch it, and people motherfuckers still gonna fuck with me. See, again, that external validation and stuff like that, and they think that everybody be on it. I'm not on it. I've never was on it. I was in YouTube land when motherfuckers could openly make videos about you and they could be sitting up lying and people entertain shit like that. I survived all of that. Bitch, you don't think? Anyway, I digress. Let me drink a sip of water. And the young lady who made this cup for me, just so y'all know, even though I don't have a top, because I don't know what the fuck it is. Maybe it's just in my house. Why I be losing the tops to cups and shit? But the lady who made it, she's in my Infinite Energy group. Her name is Ruth Facey. Ruth Facey, that's her name. You can tell her MLD sent you. But she made this cup for me. So anyway, drink a sip of water. And we're going to keep going. Okay. Well, thank you, Optimist Heart. So now we're going to talk about Shem. SHM. Not a she, but a she, but a Shem. And Shem is the line that will lead to Abraham. Okay? Shem is the line that will lead to Abraham. So finally, we see the descendants of Shem. Okay? So now this lineage becomes very important later in the Bible because Shem's lineage will come with Abraham. It will talk about Israel in the broader biblical narrative. Okay. That's why Shem is important. All right. So while other lineages are expanding into kingdoms and territories, Shem's lineage is quietly developing, and it's developing a line that's going to shape the spiritual narrative of the Bible. So this shows us something very, very fucking interesting. Not all influence comes from power. Some influence will come from legacy. That is deep. So what Genesis 10 is really teaching, Genesis 10 is not just about a genealogy chart. It's about the lessons about how human civilization forms. Families become tribes, tribes become nations, and nations become kingdoms. Once kingdoms appear, then the power struggles appear. They begin. So I'm going to put this in the chat too. Look, your girl, I really be trying to learn this shit because I'm not like a computer genius like y'all. I'm not. So, all right. So here's a moment. This the moment when humanity moves from survival into civilization. People are no longer just trying to stay alive after the flood. They are trying to build cities. They are trying to build influence. They are trying to build power. And whenever human beings chase power, history begins to get complicated. It's always going to be that way. Haven't we been living it? We're living that right now. So when people say the Bible is boring, I always laugh at shit like that a little bit because Genesis is basically the story of what? Family drama, power struggles, bad fucking decisions, and people trying to control the world, which honestly sounds like a lot like modern politics and shit today. Doesn't it? I think it does. So let's start with the table of nations, right? Let's do the breakdown, chapter 10. So Genesis explains how the world was repopulated after the flood through the sons of Noah. And essentially the first map of like humanity is in the Bible. And again, I described who the three sons and the cousin Nimrod was, all right? So let's talk about Genesis 10, verse 1. The beginning of the nations. Y'all got your Bible out? The scripture says, now these are the generations of the sons of Noah, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. And unto them were sons born after the flood. Meaning, this verse sets the stage. It's okay. It's working out. Don't come around here. Wow. I don't care. You have a towel on. Don't come around here. Sure, don't come around here. It's a nice towel. All right. And I'm back. All right. So he's still kind of weird too. Anyway, so now the generations. Where am I at? Let me fall back because he was naked with the towel after him. All right. This verse sets the stage. This verse sets the stage. The Bible is explaining that all nations after the flood trace back to Noah's 3 sons, right? So we think of civilization starting with Adam and Eve, right? Cain and Abel, right? But remember, God so eloquently wiped all of them the fuck out. And I don't know if y'all can still see me because I'm not seeing nobody comments. So if you can heart it or like it or say something, I appreciate it. All right. So I know if they ain't did me like that again. So the verse, again, the verse sets the stage. Okay. The verse sets the stage. The Bible explains that all the nations after the flood trace back to Noah's 3 sons, right? So this verse introduces the concept that human civilization begins through one family line. Now, so if you think about it in this theory, Adam and Eve ain't got nothing to do with nothing. Because remember, all of that shit was wiped out. So technically, human civilization began with Noah and his 3 sons. Did y'all think about that? Did that click? Right? Did that click? Are y'all getting something here? This is fucking powerful. I just wanted. Are y'all with me? Like, I be wanting y'all to understand the Bible like this. I have studied the Bible. My doctorate is in religious studies. So I study this. So I study from a different perspective. I study from this theological perspective. Like, I study this shit. That's why I'm so fucking good with hoodoo and things like that. I study this. Isn't this like an amazing thing to just, you know what I'm saying? Like, we are always taught that it's this and Adam and Eve is this, but they don't even matter no more. God wiped them the fuck out. Are y'all feeling me? Do you understand how, like, stuff like this, having conversations like this is important? Because I'm not here to dismantle your thought process. I'm here to grow it. I'm here to evolve it. And it's not that I think that I'm a know-it-all, because a bitch don't think that, but a bitch is educated. A bitch do read. A bitch do study herself to be approved. And I also tell y'all to do that as well. Go fact check every fucking thing that I'm saying. You don't have to believe me. Go fact check. All right. So now that takes us to the descendants of Japheth. Let's just talk about that again. The descendants of Japheth. Because see, I want to give you something that church never gave you. I want to give you an understanding, and I want to give you knowledge that you can apply and make it applicable to your life. Because a lot of y'all don't do because you don't know. It's not because you don't have the capability. It's not because you don't have the mind power or the extension. You don't have the expansion because nobody taught you that. So when I talk about the Bible and I talk about church, I'm like, get your blunt out, smoke, relax, get you a cocktail, bitch. Let's dig deep in this so we can make it applicable to our life. And I want you to be knowledgeable. I want you to be smart. I'm a brilliant bitch, but so are you. Y'all just got to trust yourself. So I'm going to help you build your foundation so your framework is going to be solid. All right. So So the descendants of Japheth. So in Genesis, and this is Genesis chapter 10, 2 through 5. Okay. So chapter 2, verse 2 is the sons of Japheth, which are, let me tell you who his sons were: Gomer, Magog, Madiah, I don't know if I'm saying it right, Javan, Tubal, Mashik or Tyrus. He had, what is it, 7 kids? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. God damn, they was doing a lot of fucking. Oh, thank you for loving it here. Well, it is. I know I'm a brilliant bitch. I literally, and I have to say this and toot my own horn, and there's nothing wrong with that because you need to be tooting your own horn too. I have taken spirituality and I have taught it to the fact that it made me a millionaire. These are facts. All right, what you say? There was nothing else to do. Well, they were building empires and nations, and apparently, a bunch of fucking 7 kids. So these descendants are traditionally associated with the regions that later became parts of Europe, Northern Asia, and coastal territories. They was my fuck, raise animals and grow the land. Like that's it. And so then you have Genesis 3 through 4, right? We talking about chapter 10, verses 3 through 4. These verses list the next generations of Gomer and Javan, right? These are 2 of the 7 of Japheth's. So these groups historically connect to early people in Anatolia, Greece, and the Mediterranean islands. Okay. Then you have Genesis 10, verse 5. By these were isles of the Gentiles divided in their lands, meaning this verse describes migration and expansion. And so Japheth's descendants spread into the coastal regions. Excuse me, I don't want to burp on here. Then you're gonna be like, this bitch ain't got no manners. I had to swallow that real cute. This reflects the beginning of international populations in maritime cultures. Okay. Then you have Genesis chapter 10, 6 through 20. Now, 6 through 20, Ham's descendants are associated with some of the earliest powerful civilization. Remember how I said Ham's Ham, okay? The sons of Ham is Cush, Mizraim, Phut, and Canaan. Child, he only had 4, all right? But these names connect. Cush is not connected to marijuana, all right? Cush is connected to Ethiopia and Nubia, okay? Mizraim is connected to Egypt, and Phut, I don't know how. Listen, this is Libya and North Africa, and Canaan is connected to the land later known as Israel and Palestine, all right? Then you have in verses 7 through 12, the rise of Nimrod. So these verses introduce one of the most interesting figures in the Bible, and he's not talked about enough. It's Nimrod. So in Genesis 8, this is chapter 10, verse 8, it says, and Cush beget Nimrod. He began to be a mighty one in the earth. Okay. This verse marks the emergence of the first empire builder in biblical history. Nimrod becomes the first powerful leader. Are y'all not catching the tea on that? So he said that he was a mighty hunter before the Lord. The phrase mighty hunter is what? It's interpreted by scholars and people as meaning a powerful ruler, a conqueror of territories, a leader of a kingdom. So this suggests that Nimrod was the dominant political figure. All right. And then you have 10 and 10. You have the beginning of his kingdom was Babel, or Bible, a Babel, a Babel, any of those names will work. All right. So the cities inside of Babel, which like Babylon, which was Erech, Akkad, and Calneh, Calneh. So these cities existed when? They existed in the Mesopotamia. Mesopotamia. And that is one of the earliest centers of civilization. So this verse shows Nimrod establishing organized urban power. Nimrod was a bad motherfucker. Are you the Nimrod in your family? Are you building an empire? And that's why they don't like you. That's why they don't like you, because you build an empire. So these verses also mention building cities, including I'm just gonna spell them because I'm fucking up these motherfucking names. Nineveh or Nineveh, Nineveh, Rehoboth, and Cassyrian Empire, which is the spread of the early empire structures. Because y'all know how to pronounce everything. All right, so the line of Egypt, that is chapter 10, that's verses 13 and 14, right? See, these verses list descendants associated with early people in Egypt. And these groups include, I think it's like 4 tribes. And it's Ludum, Ananim, Lehabim, and I can't even fuck with that one, Naphtuhim. So these represents the early tribes and the regional people. And then you have the, What'd you say? What's going on? What is going on? Is it doing it again? Then you have the descendants of Canaan. This is the people who inhabited the land of Canaan. So this included six tribes. Oh, that be fucking with me. Y'all can't hear? I don't even know, because it's showing for me. Can y'all hear now? Okay. Okay. Not you watch me on your TV. Oh Lord, it's big. We just gonna keep going. So, okay. So then you have Genesis 10 and 19. And this verse describes the geographical boundaries of Canaan. So it gives an early biblical description of the regional borders. Then you have Genesis 10 and 20, the summary of Ham's nations. So these are the sons of Ham and their families after their tongues, in their countries, and in their nations. See, this verse kind of emphasizes something really, really, really important. Human civilization develops through 3 things. It develops through families, it develops through languages, and it develops through territories. Okay. Then you have Genesis 10, 21 through 31. This is from the line of descendants of Shem or Shem. So Shem's lineage becomes extremely important later in the Bible because from this line comes Abraham, comes Israel, and the Hebrew people. Then you have the sons of Shem in 22. That's Elam, Ashur, Lud, Aram, and Exaphat or something like that, because he had 5 sons. And these later became nations across the Middle East. Ooh, that gives a lot of preference and geological information, huh? So the division of the earth in Genesis 10, 24 through 25, the division of the earth. So these verses introduce Peleg, Peleg, Peleg. So Genesis says, in his days was the earth divided. That's what Genesis 24 and through 25. In his days was the earth divided. So many scholars believe that this refers to the division of territories or the linguistic division later described in the Tower of the Babel story. All right. So the verses listed additional descendants connected to the Arabian regions and the desert tribes. That is verses 26 through 29. And then you have verse 30, where the verse again describes territorial expansion in these tribes. All right. And so the summary of the descendants is that these nations or they form nations from families and languages and lands. And it kind of prepares you for Genesis 11, where they become divided. Okay. This is what I want you to think about, because these are the key of Genesis 10. Civilization begins with families. Human societies grow from family structures into nations. Power begins to organize. Figures like Nimrod show early development of kingdoms and centralized authorities. Then you have humanity spreading across the earth. So it explains migration and the formation of distinct cultures. Then you have the stage is set for the Tower of Babel. So in Genesis 10, it leads into 11, where humanity expansions lead to language division in the story of Babel. All right. So why the table of nations, why it still shapes the world today? Because Genesis 10 is skipped. People normally skip it because it appears to be just a list of names. But in reality, this chapter is one of the most psychologically and socially important chapters of the Bible. Why, bitch? Why? Because Genesis 10 explains how family structure becomes civilization. The Bible is quietly showing us something that's still true today. Nations are simply families that grew larger. Cities, cultures, and societies all begin with a family system. That means, bitch, you can expand out and create your own family system and your own family structure if this one no longer works. Because if we got stuck where we was with our family, remember, it started with Noah and his sons. Just imagine if they never expanded out, if they never tried something different. That's you too. Why do you sit at home? Why do you still sit in the same hometown? Why do you not travel? Why do you not get outside of what your comfort zone is to see what else out there is to offer? Just think, if everybody thought like you, where the fuck would the world be? Where would it be? Where would you be? There are some people have never lived 45 minutes outside of their hometown or their city. Why? Why? Because when family systems are broken, societies struggle. See, everything starts with family. Genesis begins the chapter by listing descendants of the 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, right? But From these three family lines in the Bible explains that all nations of the earth were formed. So this teaches something very important about life, baby. Before there were governments, before there were borders, before there were political systems, there were families. And family is the first structure humans ever experienced. And family teaches you what? How to trust, how to communicate, how to resolve conflict, how to understand authority, how to understand identity. Family becomes the training ground for the human mind. What did your family teach you, your human mind, how to think, how to be? My family taught me don't depend on nobody in my fucking family. That I better step out and I better be like Nimrod. I better go build my own fucking empire. That's what my family taught me. Fear holds you back from life, Moj. Why? It can't be no better than you just sitting still. Because if you've already been through everything just sitting there, just imagine the great things that you haven't even experienced. Hello? See, the modern life comparison to chapter 10 is that, and I want you to think about this. Think about how much family shapes people today. The way somebody was raised, it influences how you handle money. Because if you didn't see good money management or people being structured with money properly, you're not going to spend it right. If you were raised to believe, well, all money is evil and it's the root of all evil, no, baby, it's your heart. Because if you had money and you were poor, you were still poor of spirit. And you can have money and you can be rich and you can still be poor of spirit. Family also teaches you how to handle relationships. If you saw your big mama and your mama argue all the time, then be assured that you're gonna be arguing with your mama. And if you got daughters, you'll argue with them because you wasn't taught a different family dynamic. Also, family teaches you how to handle stress. Your mama didn't have the tools how to live because your grandmother taught her all these half-ass lessons. And unfortunately, she taught those half-ass lessons to you. It's not that she didn't teach you, she just didn't teach you the whole thing because she didn't know. So now as an adult, you're affected by that. You have no tools on how to handle stress. You have no tools on how to handle life. You just know life gonna keep hitting you. Also, families teach you how to respond to authority. If you saw your dad and them arguing with everybody and fussing about everything and you couldn't tell them nothing, they probably can't tell you shit either, and you probably act the same way. Family also, they teach you how to view success. And this is a big one. If they were never successful, sad thing is they will never encourage you to be successful either. Because the first thing y'all do when y'all have this great idea and y'all have this great vision, hi, darling, you go and share it with your family. And if they don't hold a vision for themselves, why do you think that they're going to hold a vision for you? They can't be the provision to your vision. So you start telling your mama you want to do this, or you start telling, oh, that ain't going to work. So now they plant the seed of doubt into you about because it didn't work for them. Well, probably because they gave it some half-ass attempt. But the difference that makes it different for you is that you're going to be consistent. You're going to steady work at it. Because if you keep throwing it out there, something is going to eventually stick. But unfortunately, we're not taught stuff like that. And that's why I'm going to always encourage you to be great. I don't give a fuck. So what? Ain't nobody got to believe in your vision but you. So what? Motherfuckers are like bandwagon ass bitches anyway. They don't want to be with you during the struggle to build it. They want to be with you after it's been built. Michael says family is the first to teach lessons about money, life, health, hurt, etc. Absolutely, they are. And even as adults, people operate from the psychological patterns learned from childhood. And Genesis 10 reminds us that family structure creates future generations. That's why you got to break the curse. You just have to. You have to. Another lesson that, Genesis 10 gave us is that family becomes cultures. Descendants of Noah spreading into different lands. Over time, these families developed tribes, nations, and cultures. So, this is how identities are formed. Family passes down traditions, they pass down beliefs, they pass down language, they pass down values or lack of values, and they also pass down survival strategies. Some people never got out of the struggle their whole life, and they could have. They had the capabilities to do so, but they were afraid. Is that you? Because what are you teaching your children? How not to dream or to dream with limits? Because it's something that you can't see for them, but it's not for your eyes, it's for theirs. Remember, your family, your children, your lineage, they inherit different family narratives. What narrative do you want your children to inherit? Because you talk about a legacy, you can talk about a legacy of poverty, a poverty mindset. That is a legacy that most of us give. We have to do better. We have to do better. Even today, we see this. Two people can grow up in completely different family environments and develop very different perspectives on life. One person may be taught work hard and build stability. Another person can be taught survive day by day. These family philosophies shape how people approach adulthood. Genesis is showing the origin of cultural identity. Another lesson that Genesis 10 that I got from it is that power and leadership begins at your home. Power and leadership begins in family. Genesis introduces Nimrod in this chapter. Nimrod becomes one of the first powerful rulers in the Bible. He builds cities, he establishes kingdoms, but notice something important. Nimrod did not appear out of nowhere. He came from a family line. Leaderships often grow out of family influence. Some families raise leaders, some families raise survivors, some families raise healers. Family environments shape the direction that people take in life. It just does. What did your family raise? My family raised a leader. My family also raised a survivor. My family raised a healer. But my family didn't raise a go-getting ass bitch that I turned out to be. I designed it. I decided I wanted to be different. I was the first one in my family to hold degrees. I was the first one in my family to make a whole bunch of money. I was the first one in my family to create businesses and to create a legacy of wealth. I was the first one to do all of that. The first. And because I did that, I had survivor's remorse. I'm going to be honest. I thought that I had to take care of everybody. I thought that I had to make up for the stuff that they didn't do, not really understanding that I was the motherfucker going out there and getting it. I was the one that was taking the penitentiary chances. I was the one that was doing it. But I wanted to reward everybody else for my hard work. I don't move like that now. Bitch, I'm going to give you what you give me. And that don't make me mean. That don't make me hateful. That make me somebody that's aware. And I am very aware. I'm very aware of what I have to give and what I'm not going to give. I'm only going to put what you put into you, into me. Because if you're not putting nothing into me, I ain't got shit to give you back. But I used to be like, I got to pour. Who the fuck pouring into me? Because I'm going to tell you this. I heard this and it's true. There's a gallon and there's a pint. There's a gallon and there's a pint. Most people in your family are the pint. You the gallon. You're the gallon, baby. So you have enough to pour into their pints and it's going to be full. But one person in that one pint cannot fill up a gallon, and that's you. So why do you keep pouring out of your gallon to fill their pint when they need to be gallons too? I just want you to think about that. I just want you to think about that. I just want you to sit with that for a moment. You are a gallon, they a pint. You can pour into them all day long, but will they ever pour into you and you be full? So y'all got to be careful who you pour into because you're not gonna get that back. You're never gonna get it back. They don't have the capability. They don't have the containment for it. They don't have the capacity for it. Because remember, they're just a pint. Just sit with it. Isn't that something? It's really simple when you think about it. The reality of human psychology and how it works. Just sit with that for a moment. You would think the power of legacy, people will be wanting to leave their children something. When you pulled your energy back, nobody understood. Well, of course not. Of course, they're not going to understand. 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 And you ain't going to even make them because you don't want to hurt their feelings. Can I tell y'all a story? I ain't going to tell you if you don't want me to. But I told this story in my crown and commanding class. And if you want me to, I'll tell the story to you too. It's a very powerful story. And I want you to listen to me and I want you to just sit in it, sit in the feeling and sit in I shared it last night and I just want you to sit in it because it's something else. It's about a woman who carried water. A woman who carried water. And you think a woman to carry water, well, that's not nothing. But it is. So I'm going to share with you what I shared with my class last night. And I just want you to sit with the story and see how it affects your life and what you hold on to. All right. So there was a woman, and my mama told me the story. So this is her story. This is not my story. There was a woman who lived in a small village surrounded by mountains. And every morning before the sun rose, she would walk down a long dirt path to a river with two heavy buckets. Two heavy buckets. She would fill those buckets with water and she would carry them back uphill to the village every day for years. The water she carried, it was used for cooking, for cleaning, for her children, for everybody's children, for the elders of the community, for the people who needed it. Everyone in the village depended on her to go up that hill, those mountains, with those two heavy buckets. Everybody depended on her to come down those hills with those two heavy buckets full of water. And for years, every day, she would do it. Every day she carried those buckets without complaints. She never complained. But something happened over time. The buckets were heavy. That path, it was long. And the people in the village slowly stopped seeing the effort that it took. They simply expected the water to arrive. Are y'all with me so far? And if the water was late, the people complained. If the water wasn't full, the people criticized her. No one ever asked her how heavy the buckets were. Nobody cared. They just wanted them. Nobody asked, was she tired? They just expected her to carry them and to bring them. Nobody asked her, is this enough? Do you need a break? Because she looked like she was all right. She looked like she was all right. And they just kept expecting her to keep walking the path. So one morning, she woke up before sunrise, like she always did. She picked up those 2 buckets and she walked halfway up the hill or halfway down the hill. And then she stopped. And for the first time in years, she set the buckets down, both of them. And she sat beside the path and she just looked at the river. She just stared. My mama never told me how long she stared. She said she just sat by the path and she just stared at the river. And then she realized something and it changed her life. She realized that the village had become dependent on the water, but they had forgotten the woman who carried the water. And in that moment, she made a choice. She could keep walking the path the same way she always had, or she could choose something different. Imagine her. For years, she has been packing those goddamn buckets of water. People bitching and complaining no matter how. And she just sucked it up and she just kept going. And she did it every day. And then it hit her. She stood up and she just picked up 1 bucket. Just 1. Not 2, just 1. And she carried it back up the hill. And when the villagers saw only 1 bucket, they was confused. Some of them complained. Some of them was mad as fuck. They was angry. Like, how the fuck? Why you didn't bring 2? Why you just bring 1? That 1 is enough. The 1 ain't enough for everybody. They was confused. They was complaining about her. Well, it never mentioned nobody paying her to do none of this. She was doing it because she thought that's what she was supposed to do. Are you feeling me? Are you getting this? So some of them said that she was being selfish. Some of them said she was being mean. Some of them said she was being hateful. But something interesting happened. The next day, because she kept going with her 1 motherfucking bucket as she should have. The next day, a young boy followed her down the hill. He picked up the 2nd bucket. The day after that, another person joined and they brought a bucket. Well, within a few weeks, the entire village learned how to carry the water. Oh, so they could have been doing it? Oh, everybody could have been helping? The fuck? Right? The village learned how to carry the water. Not because she argued, not because she explained, not because she begged people to see her or she begged people to understand, but because she stopped carrying everything alone. She didn't have to say shit. She didn't explain why she changed. She didn't explain why now she's going to do it this way. She didn't explain it. She just picked up her one motherfucking bucket and she took her one motherfucking bucket and did what the fuck she needed to do for her. People said all kind of shit about her. What do you think they're gonna say about you? You think that people gonna understand the pressure they putting on you? Hmm? And y'all won't even tell nobody. You won't even tell nobody you hurting. Well, they not gonna understand. They're never gonna understand because you didn't show them. You think that everything got to be loud. You think that everything got to be. That's what they're used to. They used to that chaos. So thank you, Victoria. Thank you. Many blessings to you. May it return 100-fold. Like, thank you. Y'all think that people don't see you struggling? They do, but they don't say anything. And you teach them how to expect that from you. You teach people how to treat you. I say it all the time because you really do. And if people are handling you like that, it's because you teaching them and you telling them it's okay. Put it on me. Put the pressure on me. I can handle it, but you can't. You're that woman holding those buckets of water, both of them. You're taking care of a whole village. You're taking care of a whole village. And they don't even ask how you doing. To be honest with you, that's how I felt when I was married. I wasn't seen. And nobody wants to do stuff for people who don't see them and they're not grateful. I probably would still be married to who I was married to if he would have been grateful. That's me being real. But you are not going to enjoy the benefits of my hard labor. And you can't even say thank you to me. That's the least that you could have done. We all have choices. We all have decisions. And I want you to get this in your spirit. Okay, dramatic close up. I want you to get this in your spirit. When you say no, when you create boundaries, when you stop doing everything by yourself, when sometimes you can say, hey, I'm not doing all of this by myself. Y'all need to help me. And then if they don't help you, stop. It's okay to be the villain. Chapter 10 taught us that. It's okay to be the villain. It's okay. It's okay. You're going to be that in some people's story. It's okay. But you want to know why most people are portrayed as the villain? They share the same pattern. They stop performing. the role that they was just expected to play. Because a lot of y'all are performative. What do I mean by that? You doing shit you really don't even want to fucking do. But you doing it and you performing it because that's what's expected of you. Stop it. That does not make you a bad person. And if it does, oh well. See, people will react to them betraying you. But the role of the villain is this. I'm reacting to how I'm being treated. Thank you, Heart of Deacon. Thank you. Many blessings to you, baby. Thank you. I appreciate that. See, you got to stop refusing to remain silent. You remain silent too much. And silence don't even mean that you got to say anything. Silence means you ain't got to prove shit. You got to show them. Because self-preservation and that social expectation, it'd be a fool. How many buckets you gonna keep taking? And everybody get to eat off of your shit. Everybody get to drink off of your shit. How long you gonna keep doing it? It's not gonna get no better. Because they don't even see it. And then even if you do it, they don't give a fuck. They still handle you like that. Like you are the fucking problem. For years, you carry these emotional buckets. You carry the patience, you carry the understanding, you carry the weight of keeping relationships together. You carry the burden of making sure everybody else is comfortable. And eventually, people will stop seeing the effort. They want simply expect you to keep bringing the water. But the moment you learn to set one of them motherfucking buckets down, something powerful is going to happen in your life. Oh, I got chills. Some people gonna complain. Expect that. Some people gonna misunderstand on purpose. Expect that. But other people, most people, they gonna adjust. And they're gonna, and more importantly, you're gonna finally learn how to fucking breathe. And when you take that deep breath, it ain't gonna hurt no more. I remember I used to could take a deep breath and it would come back out layered. Like I couldn't do that. It would come out. I couldn't. It's not about even being cold because you'll be called that too. It's not about being aggressive because you'll be called that too. Thank you. Thank you, Felicia Allen and your family. Appreciate that. Many blessings to you and your family. Bless them all. It's not that you pushing people away. It's something much more powerful than that. It's about learning when to carry the bucket and when to put that motherfucker down. You carry everything for everybody. And then you expect them to understand. They not. You got to show them. You got to show them that your energy is valuable. Your peace is valuable. Your presence, bitch, is valuable. And from that moment forward, do not walk through life carrying everything by yourself. Do not do that. Stop doing that. You do not have to do everything by yourself. You do not have to carry it alone. You do not have to do this by yourself and that by yourself. And you don't have to do that. You choose to do that. And who you normally choosing to do it for so you can make their life easier, they will always make your life harder. They can't fucking help it. And as we come to an end of Genesis chapter 10, I want you to pause for a moment and really think about what we just walked through together. At first glance, the chapter looks like a long list of names. We know it's not. But when you really looked into it, it became something much deeper. Genesis 10 is a story of humanity spreading out across the world after the flood. Families become tribes, tribes become nations, and nations begin to shape the world. Every name in this chapter represents a life, it represents a generation and a family trying to build something for the future. Some built cities, some built cultures, some built systems of power. But all of them were trying to answer the same question about humanity, and people still ask it today. How do we build a world worth living in? How? This chapter reminds us that civilization didn't just appear overnight. It grew through families, it grew through ambition, it grew through leadership, and sometimes through a whole bunch of motherfucking mistakes. Because the truth is, when human beings begin to build societies, they also build what? Ego, power, and influence. So Genesis 10 is the moment where humanity moves from simply surviving to trying to control the world around them that they're building. Cities begin to rise, kingdoms begin to form, power begins to concentrate. And that brings us to a very important moment in the story of Genesis. Because whenever human ambition grows large enough, it eventually begins to believe that it could reach heaven itself. So, this is exactly what we see in the next chapter. Genesis 11 introduces one of the most famous stories in the Bible, and it's the Tower of Babel. It's a moment where humanity unites with one goal, and it's to build something. Oh, my nose itching. Who talking about me? It's to build something great, so powerful that it reaches heavens. But the question we will explore next is what happens when human unity is driven not by wisdom, but by pride, which is like a lot of shit that's built today. What happens when people stop building communities and start building moments to their own power? See, this story begins in the very next chapter. So I close 10 remembering something powerful. Every civilization begins with families. How are you treating your family? How are you treating yourself? Every nation begins with people. How are you treating yourself? Every generation has a choice to build something that lifts humanity of your family, or you can continue to break it down. You choose, you decide. Now the church of the doors are open. Thank you guys for your donations. Thank you guys for watching me. Thank you guys for supporting me. I hope that you be learning stuff when I talk to you. The stories and a lot of the things I give you are the stuff that my mother, my great aunt, that was born in 1927. These are the things that she shared with me. And next year, August the 20th, she will be 100 years old because she was born in 1927. And next year will be 2027. So I was raised by a lady that if she was still living, she would be 100 years old. That is where a lot of my, oh, somebody talking about me. Oh, that is where a lot of my wisdom comes from. That's where a lot of my hoodoo knowledge comes from. That's a lot of where my backing comes from. I was very gifted to have this lady in my life. It might not seem like it because my God, today she was mean. Oh, somebody will be talking about me. Mm. But I look at it now, being almost 50 myself. It was such a privilege and an honor to be raised with it. Such a privilege, such an honor. And I hope you guys understand that your lineage is the same. It's a privilege and it's an honor. You just got to find it sometimes. So if you guys want to book a reading or a conversation with me, feel free to do so. You can go onto my website, magicalLadyDuchess.com. If you guys want to give a donation, again, it's very hard for my videos to be monetized because of the things that I talk about. So when you guys give donations, I really appreciate it and it keeps me keep wanting to put stuff on this platform. Please understand that my donations, they go for my nonprofit and I also help other people with their nonprofit on helping families. I have been doing this since the early 2000s and I will continue to do so. I share my legacy with you because I want it to be something that you build, that you see, and give you representation so that you can make it applicable to your own life. It's not so much about me, it's what I have to serve. And I just appreciate the opportunity and the platform that you guys give me to do that, because y'all could be doing anything today. You could be watching anything today, but you chose to fuck with me like that. And I appreciate that. And I fuck with you right back. And I hope that I can continue to keep giving you content. Thank you, Jerry. I appreciate that. Many blessings to you and your family. So I hope that I create something in you that you're able to share and create your own legacy, because that's how we build these communities. Um, you're amazing. Oh, man. Well, I hope they are. I hope they are. I like to think that I'm always going to use trauma and pain, and I'm always going to alchemize on that. You might look at me and I don't look like I'm almost 50 years old. I certainly don't act like it, but my body feel like it though. But I take everything that I've learned, I take everything that I've been taught, and I amplify it. I saw my mama do this her whole life, and my mama didn't have a lot. We lived in a 3 bedroom, 1 bathroom frame house. And the things that I've been able to accomplish with you in this community has been phenomenal. I don't hate on nobody. I do work for Christians too. I do love work, money work. I do it for everybody. I don't give a damn if you white, purple, pink, orange. I don't give a fuck about none of that. I think that love is love. I don't care if you gay, straight, non-binary, binary, you a woman, man, dot, whatever you identify yourself as. I don't give a fuck about none of that. I give a fuck about you, the person, your spirit, your soul, and what are you feeding it. I don't want you to think nothing bad about yourself. I want you to think of you in a positive way. I want you to work on your mental health. I want you to talk to people. I want you to stretch yourself. I want you to grow. And you can't stretch, expand, and grow if you're not willing to evolve and do the work. And that is what I give you. So I want you guys to have a phenomenal week. Please like, share, and subscribe. Please give your comments. Please give if it's something I didn't hit on enough. Ask your questions. I promise you, if you tag me to it, I will respond to it. Sometimes it's a lot, but I will make the time to do that. I try to respond to everybody who comments on my videos. Sometimes I'm successful, sometimes I'm not. I'm not perfect, but I will certainly try for you. So again, I speak light, I speak love, I speak blessings, I speak over you being a generational curse breaker. I speak that every step you make this week, it is divinely guided. It is divinely protected. I speak over your heart. I speak over your mind that it has the clarity. I speak over your vision that it becomes clearer. I speak over your fear that you no longer fear things that are definite, because the only thing that's definite in your life is life and death. Everything in between, you get to change it. And I speak over that. I speak over the release over your life. I speak over your being grateful for the things that you have received, the good and the bad, and you build off of them both. I speak maturity. I speak emotional kindness to yourself. I speak over your heart. I speak that not only is it healed, but that you can build off of it and open it to receive the abundance of what the unexpected things that life in the universe has to offer you. I speak over your soul. I speak over your mind. May it be clear. May it be decalcified where you can manifest that cerebral cortex into anything that you want. I speak over your abundance. I speak over your consistency. I speak over your life. You will never see things like you will see them now. You've never been here before. It's 3/15/2026. You've never been here before. I speak over this new journey. I speak over this new foundation. I speak over this new community. I speak over this new family. I speak over, oh my God, I speak abundance into everybody who has taken the time. Even if you watch me for 30 seconds, I appreciate that. I love you guys. Have a wonderful week. Thank you for supporting me. And may you always and continue to be blessed. Ashe, as above, so beneath. Y'all have a good day, okay?